Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain for You. Today's Sunday, so you're going to watch this on Monday or sometime thereafter. Today's topic is going to be if you argue for your limitations. And I'll get to the answer to that if in a second. So we're going to take a couple of nice breaths. It's a nice quiet winter day. It's cold, it's in the 30s. It's not windy. Take a couple of breaths. Breathe in anything positive that you want. And exhale something negative. Breathe in the peace. Exhale the noise. You hear the crows in the background? Breathe in the nature. Exhale the indoor living, where I've spent much of the day. So, if you argue for your limitations, guess what? You get to keep them, right? I mean, basically, how many times has somebody tried to tell you, hey, you can do this, you can make a change, you can get better, you can do whatever. And you tend to argue for your limitations, like, yeah, but Dan, you don't know what my life was like. I'm really anxious. I don't know if I'm strong enough to do this. I've got too many toxic people around me, and they're constantly triggering me. Limitation. And the more we argue for our limitations, plural, the stronger they get. And we get to keep them. So, I'm constantly here fighting for your possibility. And if you're watching these videos going, but Dan, he doesn't get it. He clearly was not as anxious as I am. He clearly didn't have the same kind of pain I do. Yeah, maybe his back hurt a lot, but boy, my pain is worse because I've got it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and there's no relief. And it's devastating, and all I can do is cry. So I can't choose my response to that pain. Dan just doesn't understand. And so what you're doing is arguing for the belief that you're broken. And guess what, folks? The brain is listening. The brain is always listening to your thoughts, to your words, to your statements, to your beliefs. And there's something called the reticular activating system. And basically, the brain is always scanning your entire life, everything that's happening, for evidence that the things that you believe, think, and say are truthful, accurate. And so if all you do is say, Dan, I get it, this stuff makes sense, but I'm too anxious. This isn't going to work for me. Your brain is going to look for evidence that that is true. It's going to say, oh yeah, you're feeling really anxious now. See, you were right. You're not going to get better because you're too anxious, or you're too emotional, or you're too unemotional. You can't find your emotions. You can't feel them. They've been locked up forever because my parents this, my mother that. The more you state those things out loud, sometimes in the comments to me, and I love you and I respect you and I honor your struggle, but the more you repeat all of the things that you can't do and why, your brain's paying attention, and it starts to look for reasons that that stuff is accurate and truthful. Whereas, if you've been watching me for any amount of time, I am much more of the mindset that this stuff is not as complicated as it seems. Yes, it is challenging. Yes, it can be difficult, but it is not complicated. If you can get the core message that you're actually not broken, and that the core task at hand is to just teach your brain that you're not broken, not physically, not mentally, not emotionally, not spiritually, you're not broken. You may seem it. You may feel that way. If your body's screaming at you, I get that we feel broken. If your emotions are all over the place, I get that we feel broken. If you wake up and the anxiety is just draining, I get that we feel broken. But the more we argue for our limitations and our brokenness, the more we get to keep it. And so I'm going to encourage you to listen to those that support you, whether it be me, some of the other TMS coaches out in this world. There's a lot of great, fantastic people that are reminding you that yes, you can get better. And instead of arguing for your limitations, try to take on their confidence. Take my confidence, borrow my confidence, borrow my belief system that says we can all get better. We can minimize our pains. We can minimize our symptoms. We can actually get rid of them. There's countless examples within this Pain For You community, both on Facebook and YouTube. Some of my private coaching clients, people are getting better. This stuff works. The brain is the control center. If you're constantly arguing for your limitations and all the reasons why this isn't going to work for you, or you're not good enough or strong enough or capable enough, you're feeding those instructions to the control center, and it's listening and executing for you. So, be wary what you're fighting about or arguing for. Because if you're arguing for your limitations, you get to keep them. I don't think that's really going to help you out in the long term. So start to argue for your possibility. And if you got naysayers around you who are saying, oh, this stuff's BS, this mind-body stuff's not going to work, go to the doctor. I'm not suggesting you argue with them, but don't take anybody else's negative naysayer attitude on. That doesn't have to be your belief. And if you do have some people like that around you that you're living with, my suggestion is going to be to coach them gently, lovingly. Look, I know you're just here trying to help me out, doing the best you can. But right now, this is the direction I'm going, and I know you don't necessarily agree with it, but this is where I am putting my intention and heart and effort. And I would really love it if you would support me in that. And if you can't support me, at least please don't criticize me. And say it from a place of love. And I know you care about me and you just want to see me get better. And this is draining and tiring for all of us, right? But please, here's what I'm trying to accomplish. And the more you can either support me in that effort, or at minimum, not criticize my effort, the faster I'll get better. So, don't let other people argue for your limitations either. And if they do, gently, with love, coach them to be more supportive. But primarily, being more supportive for yourself instead of arguing for all the reasons why your limitations are going to hold you back. That's really what this video is all about. I don't know what's going on with the siren. Earlier today, there was sirens going around, and I think it was a fire department with the Santa on top of the truck, because they were going around making a whole heck of a lot of noise earlier. So who knows? Maybe that's the same thing. Hopefully, it's not a real fire. So let's say a prayer for the people in case it is a real fire. Hope everybody's okay. Let's hope it's just Santa Claus being driven around on a fire truck. So with that, don't argue for your limitations, because if you do, you get to keep them. I don't think that's helpful. So, love you guys and gals. Have a great Monday. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Another peek at the snow. Still here on the ground. It's still cold. And we will see you tomorrow.